Oh my gosh, I knew I would be pressured into making these really hard answers like this. Okay.
Wait. You didn't think we'd let you see that, did you?
Not so fast, folks. In our what could possibly be season 1 finale of the Need to Ride podcast, we sat down with our white whale. Who was this, Jada?
President Phillips in the flesh in my backseat.
Who would have thought this could have happened? And Jada, what was your favorite moment from today with President Phillips?
That really intense moment.
Oh, whoa. We're not going to give that out for free right now. Watch the full episode right after this segment. But if you want to see it live, want to see it with your own eyes instead of listening it on your favorite podcast platform, head to our YouTube page, Need a Ride. You can watch the full episode. There's some great moments. President Phillips might even have on a horse hat during this. Who knows? Tell me, Jada, is that something that happened?
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Can't tell you that now. Head to our YouTube to watch this and listen right after this segment.
Okay, transition out.
Okay.
See you around.
Mic drop. Perfect.
That was good.
All right, folks, we are here. Dare I say we have our white whale. When Jada and I first started this, we had our ideas and what we wanted to do. We joked about this day. We dreamed about it, but here we are, live in the backseat with President Phillips. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. This is a lot of fun, by the way.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of us, through the past year know you as, Rhonda Phillips, the president, not so much Rhonda Phillips, the person.
Yeah.
That's kind of our goal today, is kind of get to know you, who you are, and kind of your journey through life and what's led you to Chatham. So
Sure, absolutely.
I gotta say, it was easier to get you on here than I thought it would be. It was as simple as like, want to be in my car? She's like, yeah, I'll do it.
I jumped at the
I'll be in a
chance.
podcast.
Why
I think that's
not?
the beauty of Chatham University, too. I don't think many other universities you can, have tea with your president, pitch this idea, and a week later, here we are.
Here we are
in the
my
back seat.
Absolutely. Here I am with a horse.
Rehab was supposed to be a
Yeah, so I really wanted to lean into the country theme. I know you're a
Absolutely.
Southern Belle from the heart of Mississippi.
Absolutely.
So I think the most pressing question, what's your favorite country song, President Phillips?
Oh gosh, that's a really hard one. Okay. There's always the classics. Willie Nelson, "Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground," or "Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain." But that's a little sad. So I like the happy stuff too. Anything by the Chicks, I really like. I guess Lyle Lovett a long time ago. I'm going way back now, because he's a poet who sings. Basically, he was my gateway into country. Was Lyle Lovett.
Were you a big Garth Brooks fan growing up?
Not so much the pop, I guess I like the more meaty country. I like the genres
like the
that
real-
sort of
Yeah, a lot of soul in
transcend.
that.
Well, I gotta say this, I gotta put it out there. Lucinda Williams. Okay, so she's like folksy, bit country, bit rock. I mean, she defies genre, but she does have some country roots. So I just gotta put it out there, because that, to me, her early days were much more country, and she recorded her first album in Jackson, Mississippi. I just gotta tell you that.
You've been to on this whole music
My
train?
gosh, are you talking about like a whole life or just recently?
All time. Like,
Oh,
you can
gosh.
go back and maybe live one
Concert.
concert all over again.
Okay.
Who were you going to see? Was it so much the performance, the music, or kind of everything put together in that moment in
I
time?
think everything. Andreas Bocelli gave a great concert last week in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And his daughter, who's like 10 or 11, performed with him for some of it. And that was really special to see, because she has a beautiful voice too. But I would guess I'd have to go back to some of my early days when I was about your guys' age. I got to go to the Superdome in New Orleans, and we had Heart. Remember Heart? And let's see, there was, oh goodness gracious, let's see, Aerosmith and all the hard rockers of that era were there all in a couple days at the Superdome. So that was probably the one that when I was a young person, you'd think can't ever supersede that.
Yeah.
And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But there's been some great concerts. So I have always had this desire to see Willie Nelson in concert. Every single time I get close to one, something happened, I couldn't go. I just went last April, a year ago.
How was it?
It was fantastic. He's 90 years old, and he can play guitar better than just about anybody on earth. And it was fantastic. And I sat right in the front. And I made eye contact
yeah.
with Willie Nelson.
That's pretty. Not many people can
So,
say that. I
I
bet.
just got to say that.
I think there's only one person in the back seat who can say that.
That's right.
Another
That's right.
thing is you've been in the same room as Dolly Parton before, haven't you?
I have
Whoa.
indeed. I have. Okay, so I was 18 years old. You want me to tell the story or just part of the story? Okay.
They need to know.
So anyway, I had to get to Nashville. I was 18. I was taking like my aunt, who's like 11 years older than me. I had to take her piano up to Nashville from Mississippi, from South Mississippi. And so she somehow talked my brother, his girlfriend at the time, and me driving this piano up in my grandfather's pickup truck at 18 to go up all the way to Nashville, which was a long journey with a piano loosely tied to the back. And so we made our way up there, and my aunt invited us to go to the Grand Ole Opry. And so we did, and she had backstage access. She was a singer, that kind of thing. Anyway, we're standing backstage, and here we are, just three young people from the backwoods of Mississippi, and Dolly Parton walks by and says, "Hey, y'all, how you doing?" And she stopped and talked to us. She asked us our name, where we're from, how long we were going to be in Nashville. She was so beautiful and polite and kind, and she made us feel like oh my gosh, and she was a celebrity way back then. She stopped and took time to talk to us, and we were just dumbstruck, just like, could hardly even speak our names. We were so awestruck by her, and she just fills up a room with light. Basically, she comes into a space and you just go, whoa, she's amazing. So anyway, that's pretty much all my celebrity stories. But
That's awesome, though.
And then this one too, obviously.
yeah,
being
well,
here with
this
us,
one being in a car with a horse head, and I love animals, so
Yeah, I know you have some dogs, right?
I have dogs. I have some donkeys and a goat.
Whoa.
But not here.
I was like,
I was
what?
gonna say, bring them on, right? But no, they're on the farm back in Mississippi. So
Oh, that's awesome.
all these years, I left a long time ago to go pursue career and college and all that stuff. But I always kept a part of my great-grandparents' farm. And so all these years still have it, but and I have family that takes care of it. But I have two gorgeous donkeys. They are some of the most intelligent, curious. Hi, it's like, what are they doing in the background? And with a horse head, no less,
Oh, gosh.
and a cowboy hat. But anyway, so they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I wish I could bring them up here. I think people would love them. They
No,
are
absolutely.
so friendly.
You got to do it one
They're
day.
so
Right. You've talked a bit about, life in Mississippi and the farm aspect, and it seems to be really important to who you are now and kind of hanging on to those roots a bit.
Yeah.
What was, kind of the driving force behind that, and, why that is such a big part of who you are today, and why you cherish, your time in Mississippi and the animals on the farm and all that?
Yeah, well, I think, that's where I grew up, and so you sometimes when you come from that background, when you're young, you think, I just gotta get away, go to a city. And I did all of that. I left for decades, went and lived in some of the largest cities in the U.S. and, did, a lot of work and college experiences and professional work experiences and did all those things and traveled internationally. And what I found is that I love learning about new places and new people and new cultures and everything, new food especially. That's always good. That's always key. And, what I always found that, home is there. And for a long time I thought, I'll never go back. I'll never live there again. I'll never want to do that because it has a bit of a hard history, a lot of hard history. Things have improved through the years, but it's really high poverty. And so people have a hard time making a living, they have a hard time finding jobs, and it's just a difficult place to thrive unless you're making your own business or you happen to be the town's doctor or lawyer or something like that. And so it's a hard place to be in some ways. It's gotten better through the years. But at some point about 10, 15 years ago, I said, you know what? I do all this development work literally all over the world, helping communities and regions, and I've even done some country level analysis and work, helping development thrive, helping people thrive. And yet, here I am from the poorest state in the country, and I haven't done that for my own place. And so I started getting really serious about connecting what I did at wherever university or job I was in back to Mississippi. Could we do project work? And we did some research and analysis with my students. I'd take groups of students down there to experience the culture. We do the race. Trace, basically, you go up the civil rights trail and learn about civil rights and all those things. So I've taken lots of groups of students and introduced them to Mississippi and the Deep South over the decades. But more than that, I started thinking, okay, what we can do to make a difference. And so one of those is working with my family to identify business opportunities. So what do we do in a rural poverty area? You grow stuff, right? We grow agriculture products. So the project I've been working on for a long time now is how do you add value to the things we can grow in the Deep South? And that's been incredibly rewarding just from a standpoint of this is something that we can do, and it's something that can make a difference. Now, obviously, I'm not there very much. My family does a lot of those business, things on that side and grow. They keep the farm, they keep things growing. But the idea is that at some point you have to reconcile with your home, like where you're from, what your story is of your family, what your roots are. At some point you do. It doesn't mean everybody has to go back and live there, but it just means at some point you have to reconcile. And I'm just going to leave that to interpretation, because sometimes it's a hard reckoning, sometimes it's a good one, sometimes it is something that gives you joy, and sometimes not. Sometimes it's everything all at once. But everybody has to come to that point in their life. And I know that when you're young, you're like, go out there, see the world, do everything, which you should. It's totally what you should be doing. At some point you'll say, okay, let's think about, what that connection is to home. And sometimes home is where you make it. And I've always tried to do that too. Find things I find joy. And I'm talking way too much because you have questions.
People don't care about what we have to say.
Yeah.
They want to hear what we have to say.
This is your episode.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you've been all over. I'm kind of curious, what about your journey brought you to Chatham, or what drew you here specifically?
Absolutely. So, here I was over in my past job, which I really loved, and
Sorry about the Boilermakers, by the way.
Oh, so sad.
That was a tough referral.
It's like, good grief. Everybody's really sad. But anyway, we got that far at least. At least, and that's something to celebrate. But anyway, so I was at Purdue, and I loved being there. Had fantastic colleagues, great students. Everything's good. Had a house. I had a greenhouse. Good grief. Who leaves a greenhouse? So I had just told my colleagues at Purdue, I said, look, I'm going to do this like another year, maybe 2, and then I'm going to take early retirement. And I'm done. I'm out. And I had just told them this, and they're going, oh my gosh, we got to what are we going to do? Make plans, who's going to be, your next person. And I get this call from a lady I know who I had met like in leadership development way, 5-10 years ago, whatever. And we'd kept in touch here and there, and she happened to be the search person for this job. She says, Rhonda, I have the perfect job for you. And I said, no, I've already told my colleagues I'm taking early time. I'm out. She said, just look at the proposal. I'm going to send it to you. Just look at it. So I didn't look for a while. And I said, I'm on a track now. I'm going to do this thing. And then one day I just said, you know what? Maybe I should look. It sounded like a really interesting place from what she was telling me. So I got the proposal out. It happened to be the day of the deadline.
Oh, wow.
So I read everything I could possibly read about Chatham. I looked at everything on media, social, everything. Read the proposal about 3 times, and I said, I'm going to sit down and write that letter. And I'm going to do it. I got in at 11:53 before midnight on the date it was due.
That's very Chatham core.
But here's what got me. A couple things. One was, you have this rich legacy of women's leadership and Rachel Carson. I mean, that's all you had to do was just say Rachel Carson, and I'm like all in. And then, you have this rich legacy here. You've got some great sports teams. Division III sports teams are really strong here, and that's it's a way to build community, a way to build connection, and I thought that was really good. You have, for goodness sakes, you have a graduate school with health sciences. Not many places of this size institution have that. So you've got this rich history of graduate programs, both with health sciences, but also in liberal arts and sciences. And then you've got the Falk School of Sustainability. You've got a 388-acre farm, for goodness sakes. So by the time I'm like, wait a minute, that's just too good. That's like, you've got all these things, and then it just seemed like a place that could make a difference. You know what I mean? Like a difference in people's lives and students' lives, but also just being in a place that stands for something in a time that sometimes things are so in flux we don't really know what values and mission are. And to me that was really important. So I said, okay, I'm not really old enough to retire yet. So maybe I'll just go check it out.
Yeah.
So I sent the letter off, and I thought, I probably won't hear anything, because, you get a lot of applications for these jobs. And then, they called back and said, we'd like to interview you. And I said, really? Really? And so, but yeah, it was pretty great. And, from there, we went several rounds, down in. And I think, the thing that Chatham is so, I know every president says this about their institution. We're so unique and special. But Chatham is. I mean,
Really
that's
is.
We
what
have the
is
Need a
the
Ride
difference.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's not just talk. I mean, it's a different kind of feel, a different kind of place where people are engaged and want to do things and make the world, make this place better, but also their neighborhoods, their communities, their regions, make it better. And we have a rich legacy of that, of people who've done that, who've come through Chatham in the past. And to me, that was really important. So here I am, standing in the back seat of the car with a, is this technically a hat?
It's a hat. It is a
Gosh,
hat.
okay, here we go. Okay.
Oh, our ratings
Yeah.
just skyrocketed. Did you hear that?
My Chinese astrology symbol is a horse, so
Oh,
I
it was
have
meant
to
to be.
refer- It was meant to be. I was
like-
meant to be sitting here in the back of this car wearing a horse head. It's all come full circle.
It's like,
Yeah.
We need a
reading the letter
picture.
the last day.
We need a
right
picture.
before.
Okay.
While we're, I
Okay.
didn't realize his hat was sideways.
Rehab was supposed to be a fresh start, but no matter how
I feel like growing up on a farm, especially Chatham and especially Eden Hall, like that would be like right up your alley.
In fact, I have to tell you a quick story about that. So it's sort of funny. Okay, so I live on campus, and I want to live on campus.
Yeah.
And the house that I live in needed a lot of work, and so they kept saying, "Well, we're not sure it'll be done or finished, or that we can fully fix it," because with cert preservation, you never know what you're going to uncover. And so I said, "Look," at one point when it didn't look like it was going to be ready, I said, "I'm just going to live in like an Airstream trailer at Eden Hall. I can just
Yeah.
park it somewhere. You can hook me up to a little solar panel or something. I can
sounds
put up
fun.
a temporary little fence for my dogs, and I'm good." But everybody just laughed. They didn't think I was serious. Yeah.
It's all you need. It's all you
They
need.
didn't think I was serious, but actually, I was pretty serious.
Yeah, and I think that's stuff students would like too. Is like just it's nice seeing President like live kind of within the same space that students
Yeah.
are. And
Oh, I love living on campus. I mean, I can walk over to like the dining hall if I don't want to cook or something,
Yeah.
and I can take the dogs for walks. I try to take them when there's not a lot of other dogs out there, and the reason is my girls are, well, they see another dog and start barking, then it's really unpleasant. I'm like, oh please. So I try to wait till everybody else is done walking the dogs, or if they see a squirrel, it's all over. I mean,
Plenty of
it's
those around
all
here,
over.
too.
Yeah.
And
we're in
so
Squirrel Hill.
That's all you'll find
we're
here.
in Squirrel Hill, so I have to be very selective about the time to walk those wild girls. Yeah, it's fun. So can I ask you all a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can flip the script 100%.
Okay. Where is the first place you want to travel in the world once you graduate?
Ooh.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to get to do a little bit of traveling. I studied abroad through Chatham this past summer, but I still think a place I kind of always go back to is Turkey. I just love like Istanbul.
Turkey.
I love kind of going up the Mediterranean coast. That's just kind of always been my place I just kind of lean back to a bit.
I've never been farther than Arizona, so anywhere outside the country, even Canada, would be amazing for me.
You got the hat for it.
Yeah,
I
you're,
do. I'm
you're ready to go.
horse. You got
Yeah.
dragging on the roof this entire
I used
time.
to ride horses a lot when I
Really?
lived in
Yeah.
Arizona. So I've lived in Arizona. Yeah.
Wait, can you name my horse since you have farm experience?
Well, this probably is a quarter horse, I'd guess. Yeah. They're like the golden retrievers of the horse world.
Ooh.
I knew that.
I love a good quarter horse.
Yeah.
Love a good quarter horse moment.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes the place you want to go, it could be really nearby too. It doesn't have to be far away. I mean, that's the nice thing about travel. You can make an experience out of going 30 miles away, or
Literally.
10 miles away for that matter, 5 miles.
Even for the eclipse, like we went a couple hours
yeah,
north and
yeah.
made a whole day of it, and
It's pretty
It's just-
awesome.
Did you get
Can't
to
beat
watch
it.
the eclipse?
I did. Well, I didn't see 100. We weren't in the 100% totality zone, but I had my little glasses. It was great. It's pretty
It
awesome.
was cool. I saw the most people on the quad I've ever seen. Like, I did not
At
know
any
Chatham
Chatham
had this
event.
many students.
Yeah.
Just everyone on the quad, even like teachers
Did
coming
everyone
out
have
to
glasses?
watch.
Yeah. Oh, good.
we have a continuous segment here with a little lightning round where we ask some general questions for all our guests. This first one, let's get right into it. If you could sit in the back seat with any two people, past, present, fictional, non-fictional, who would they be?
You mean other than you two?
Other than us,
than
like
us.
obviously,
Yeah,
Mount
obviously.
Rushmore, we're up there.
Okay, she's not dead or alive.
Dead or alive,
Okay.
fictional,
Oh gosh, that
non-fictional.
makes it really hard.
Whatever you want.
Bring them back from the grave. That'd be a little hard.
Or we can go to any route you want to go down. If you want to keep them alive, we
Yeah.
can stay here
do
too.
that.
Well, obviously, I mean, I'd love to sit down with someone, like some great philosophical thinker and just hear how they think, somebody like Gandhi would be amazing, just to see how do you even arrive at that state to be able to think like that. So somebody like that would be good. Well, honestly, since I'm at Chatham, I'd love to sit down with Rachel Carson.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gotta
She'd
go
be
with
great.
it.
she'd be awesome. Wouldn't she seems so thoughtful and
Everything about it.
yeah, very thoughtful and analytical, and I'd just like to, just talk to her about things like that. I guess other people, I was always been a big fan of Eleanor Roosevelt. She was just a tremendous writer. So here's a neat little aside. I tend to go down rabbit holes because I'm
Yes.
from the South and we have
As
to
you
do that. We go right down a rabbit hole and talk forever, but you can just stop me anytime.
No,
I know
keep
this
going.
is not a lightning round, is it? It's more like a thunderstorm.
It's a
rolling
thunder
in.
round.
We like a nice thunderstorm around Pittsburgh.
Okay, so my dogs, I've had female dogs for a long time, and I tend to name them after women I admire.
Oh, nice.
So I've had a Lucy. Can you guess who that was for?
Lucy.
Lucille Ball.
Oh,
The
Beat me
redhead.
to it.
She
Yes.
was a red golden
Oh.
retriever. We matched, and it was great. And I have Eleanor Roosevelt is Ellie.
Nice.
She's my Bernier. I have now.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I've had Maya Angelou, one of my favorite poets, and I have currently Nora for Nora Ephron. Yeah, one of my favorite screenwriters. And
Will we be
That's a
saying
good
a
group of
Jada dog
names.
in the future?
Well, it's possible.
Never
You're
know.
famous. I already admire you, so I know.
Oh, shucks.
So
Let's say you're about to start a road trip, with your family and friends.
Yeah.
What's the first song you're gonna be playing, on the radio if you got a
oh my
choice?
gosh, there's not even a question.
Yeah?
It's Car Wheels on the Gravel Road by Alison
Oh,
Durant.
you get the
This-
trip going on the right foot.
Yeah, you
Gotta
have
start
to.
off
You
right.
got to start off with that, lively tune. You got to get yourself in the mindset. You got to, get the teams going.
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
And you asked us this question, but we're gonna turn it back to you. Where's one place in the world that you could go? Right, if you can go
gosh,
right
okay.
now.
Okay, you got to define it for me. Does it have to be U.S. or just
No, anywhere.
Anywhere in the
We
world.
got a magic card.
Okay,
It can road trip
okay.
you anywhere you want to go.
Okay, well, this. I really, if I could just zip myself there, I'd go to New Zealand and see my grandkids. That's
New
where they
Zealand.
live. Yeah, and I could see them on Zoom. Not Zoom, but what do you call it? FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get to see them as much as I'd like. So
Yeah.
I guess if I could blink myself somewhere,
Yeah.
like a Spock trip, I would definitely go straight to New Zealand and see my grandkids.
Yeah, that's a long
it's
travel.
So,
It looks beautiful there
it's
too.
gorgeous, but it's really far
I
away.
have one more question I
miss
have to
them.
ask,
Yeah.
or else
Yeah.
the community will be mad at me.
Oh,
President
gosh.
Phillips, Carson or Penzie?
Oh my gosh, I knew I would be pressured into making these really hard answers like this. Okay, here's my take on this.
Okay.
You can have two mascots. I don't know why people are so hung up.
Why can't
Other
we have them
places
both?
can do it.
Yeah,
We just don't have
that's
a lot
true.
here in Pittsburgh. But I have seen and known of places that have two mascots. Have a historical
Yeah.
mascot,
Mhm.
Penzie the seal. Because that sort of goes along with like the penguins, the pins,
Yeah.
And then have your current wing. I mean, those students, what, from 96, 94, selected
Sometime
cougar?
around there.
Carson the cougar.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to necessarily undo
Undo-
that
yeah.
or whatever. I mean, it's
A lot of
nice.
history
It's a
there, too.
nice metaphor, for sports and stuff. But have two. Why
Why
can't
can't we
you?
have them both?
Yeah.
I have seen
Let's have
places
everyone
where
be
the
happy.
president,
Why
you
can't
have your
Yeah.
historical
You know what?
mascot, you have your current mascot.
I agree,
Either
100%.
that or put it to the vote.
Yeah.
Let people decide, but you have to have a majority vote to get it, where it's not just like by people deciding. So everybody has to weigh in. And I'm sure everybody has an opinion.
Oh, that
They
is
definitely do.
I would wear a Penzie shirt and I would wear a Carson Cougar shirt.
Maybe
Either
we can get
one.
like one of those, like for like what Mrs. Kelsey wore for the Super Bowl. We get one
Oh,
cut it in
gosh.
half,
Yeah.
sew them together. We got a cougar
That's
and a
what-
seal together.
That's what you do. That's what you do.
I got
Yeah.
one last lightning round question. You said you traveled a lot throughout,
Yeah.
your life in different places. Where's your favorite place you've been to?
Outside the U.S., I really like New Zealand, but I really like Ireland.
Oh,
Really like Ireland, and I think it's a beautiful place. It's not very heavily populated anymore, but is gorgeous, and it's just a very soothing place to go. It's very verdant and green, and people are lovely, and it's just a really nice place to go. So one thing I'd like to do is make sure we have a study abroad to Ireland.
Yeah.
The last study abroad I did was just right before I came here, was to Scotland, and I love it. And we went up all the way up to the Isle of Skye, which is one of the most gorgeous places on the face of the earth. So I'd love to do study abroad somewhere fun, and I've taken groups of students all over the world. Sooner or later, I'd really like to do study abroad again, because it's just an amazing experience.
So many great places in the world.
Yeah. And it's fun to go with students, because you
Yeah.
you learn.
Yeah.
You learn, and that's what we go for. So, yeah.
Well, that's all I have. Jada, you good?
I've asked my pressing question.
That is the people will be happy. But thank you so much for doing this, President Phillips.
You're
this has been a lot of fun
You're
to get to know you a bit as a person, and hopefully we can do this again next year, maybe.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And
Part 2?
And I love
Yeah.
With an air-conditioned car?
Air conditioning.
With a
Let's
comfort,
see.
it's a comfort
Once we get
animal.
all our sponsorship
That's
money
my
in from this
word.
episode, we can get a new car and we'll be good to go.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
Well, I guess we can give the camera one last yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
Awesome. Thank you.